Kuki groups and Kuki leaders have brought their fight against Manipur Chief Minister Biren Singh to Delhi. This concerns leaked audio clips that Kuki MLAs of the state say are the voice of the Chief Minister, proof that they allege show that the Chief Minister was complicit in fomenting and allowing the violence, the ethnic violence that broke out in the state in 2023. I'm Barkha Dutt. You're with the Mojo Story. Our focus today returns to the state of Manipur, where Biren Singh, the chief minister, is under attack. And he's under attack from 10 Kuki MLAs. These include 7 MLAs of the BJP and 2 state ministers. Now, what is Biren Singh being accused of? Biren Singh is being accused of having been caught on an audio tape, clips of which have leaked, that seem to show him exhorting the private militia group known as the Arambai Tenggol. According to a press release by the Kuki MLAs, the clips show the Manipur chief minister basically telling the private militia that they can go ahead and do what they want to, that he will make sure that nothing happens to them. We have been seeing now for more than a year that Manipur has been in tension. It started with the violent clashes that broke out, and there continues to be a kind of uneasy de facto division between the two major communities of the state, the Meiteis and the Kukis. The debate around this issue, too, unfortunately, is around ethnic lines. In fact, BJP MLAs have also crossed, as it were, party lines, and they stand today with the Kuki groups that are demanding that the central government set up a judicial commission, a commission of inquiry, and they're also saying that Biren Singh must step aside for this inquiry to be fair. What is Biren Singh saying? Biren Singh's government has said that these clips are doctored, they are not authentic, and twice now we have seen very fierce denials from the Biren Singh government. But the issue is not going away, and Kuki groups have today reached the national capital, bringing their fight to Delhi and hoping that the national mainstream media also takes note of what they're alleging. Now, the allegation, of course, is very, very serious. And I want to introduce our two guests on the program today as we look at this allegation, as we look at the fact that there are BJP MLAs among those who are making these allegations, and how or what would be the appropriate way to handle these allegations. Mr. W.L. Hangshing, who's of course General Secretary with the KPA Group, a major Kuki leader, joins us. We're also joined by Rajat Sethi. He's of course a political analyst, but he has also spent a lot of time in the Northeast and has been at one point in his life the political advisor or an advisor to the Chief Minister of Manipur, so knows the state very well. Thank you, gentlemen, for being with us. Rajat, I'd like to actually start with you. Uh, the allegations are serious and they've been denied by the Biren Singh government, but they're not going away. And effectively, what they're saying, and we're not playing the clips because we cannot independently authenticate or source the clips. But effectively, what they're saying is that on tape, Mr. Biren Singh can be seen exhorting private militia, saying things like, "Don't worry, I will be arrested before any of you are arrested. If any trouble happens, I will stand between you and the rule of law." Now, what is the appropriate way for the BJP at the center? The party politics and the ethnic debate will continue in Manipur. What should be the appropriate response of the Home Ministry and of the center to these allegations, Rajat?
Good evening, Barkha ji. Good evening to Hangshing ji as well. Uh, See, tapes and the history of tapes over the past 1 year or so, the way it has, the way it has repeatedly over the past been strategically placed and come out. Somebody holds on to this tape and selectively releases it at opportune time. I mean, of course, I don't have the full information whether these tapes are doctored or not. The Biren Singh government has come out strongly saying and filed an FIR against the Wire, saying that these are doctored clips, and if at all these clips had to be aired, they should be given to the Judicial Commission, which is already looking into all the aspects of acts of commissions and omissions both in the state of Manipur, instead of going public with it. So that's his position, and I to that extent, I agree that since the state is burning, every ounce of fuel that you're adding to this conflict through these videos, true or doctored, again, I'm not the one who can make a call on that, has material impact on individuals' lives, people's lives who are either staying in the camp or are in the buffer zone, etc. Therefore, one has to be extremely responsible when somebody is going out and publishing these things. Therefore, coming to the moot point as to how should the BJP government at the center handle the situation. First thing, it is no longer about Congress and the BJP anymore. Political parties, those lines have completely faded in the state. Um, Two ethnic communities who are at loggerheads, that's the only line of distinction that exists, nothing else. Everything else has been erased. Therefore, more than the BJP government, it is the central government who needs to understand that a very important border state with an unstable neighbor, which is Myanmar, with Bangladesh also becoming unstable now, has material impact on our internal security. And it cannot be allowed, the investigations cannot be allowed to carry on. There has to be some level of a sunset clause associated with all of these, high court based or senior high court, retired high court judge conducting these investigations. The CBI is also investigation. The entire investigation machinery has been removed outside of the Manipur State Police and has been given to the central agencies monitored under the judicial inquiry. But have a time bound closure to it. Once the closure is there and whatever recommendations come out of it, implement those. If the chief minister is found guilty on it, remove him, conduct set up a president rule, resolve the issues, and then get a new chief minister, whatever it is. If he is not found complicit, go out and reach out to the MLAs, Kuki MLAs also. There have been n number of allegations even against the Kuki MLAs being involved in the violence as well. So all these accusations, you cannot carry on the state and in such a vulnerable condition in perpetuity. You need to have a closure to all of these things. I'm sure that the Home Ministry is trying its level best to see that can any kind of a breakthrough happen back channels or not. So far, as much as I know, the Home Ministry hasn't come out public with this, but yes, on a weekly basis, there are still deliberations happening. There have been major breakthroughs on certain important points, but not complete for both the warring factions to come together and leave violence aside.
Before I go to Mr. Hangshing, Rajat, I take your point that, when you have edited tapes, you don't know who's done the recording, you don't know who's leaked the recording, you don't know if it's the full conversation. And those caveats I respect, and that's the reason we're not playing the tapes. But the point is that the MLAs, and I agree with you, party lines have collapsed in Manipur. So 7 of the 10, the MLAs, the 10 MLAs who are speaking are technically from the BJP. And but I agree, party lines have collapsed. They're immaterial today. But when 10 MLAs, including 2 state ministers, come out and say the chief minister must be probed, and when they ask the center for a commission of inquiry, that commission of inquiry will determine whether these tapes are authentic, not authentic, what happened in these tapes. Do you think the center must publicly at least announce the commission of inquiry?
But the Supreme Court has already instituted it. This matter went all the way up, and a retired Guwahati High Court Chief Justice, I suppose, is actually he's conducting all the investigations. So this is what it had stretched for a period of 1 year, and we all have it has been erased from our collective memory that what all steps have actually been taken historically. My simple point is that it should conclude at some point, because without the conclusion of these investigations, how do you start the process of healing? That's where things are stuck, I believe.
So you're saying no separate inquiry is needed. There is already a
So
Supreme Court
there is a
monitored.
separate inquiry on the role of the chief minister included, by
I
the
know,
way.
I know. I
So
know, I know. I mean, no separate inquiry on these particular audio clips. That's what
no,
you're
these
saying.
tapes have also been. In fact, these tapes were actually submitted to the Commission of Inquiry and then also leaked to the media. So it's not as if these
Okay.
tapes are not with the Commission of Inquiry. They're already there. They have been submitted duly. In fact, the person who submitted his identity has been protected by the Commission of Inquiry themselves. They have ensured that his name or her name is not leaked out to the public and the media. But somebody,
Right.
in any case, went ahead and leaked those tapes to the media, and the Wire carried the story.
Right. So Mr. Hanshing, this is the very important point that basically what Rajat is saying is that these tapes are already with the Commission of Inquiry. Sir, if you could just lean a little bit, yeah, there. These tapes are already with the Commission of Inquiry. They're not new. This evidence is before a Supreme Court monitored investigation that is ongoing. All that is new is that these tapes have been placed in the public domain. These tapes have not suddenly been discovered. Therefore, why are leaders like yourself and other groups asking for a separate inquiry into these tapes? This material, as you just heard Rajat said, is already before the Commission of Inquiry. How do you respond to that, Mr. Hangshik?
The the KPA has not officially asked for these tapes to be inquired into. In fact,
Okay.
it's been loosely viral in all the thing. And when I saw it, I mean, I didn't think anything much about it, because
Hmm.
the fact that the CM Biren Singh has goofed up, and he's actually the architect of all the violence, not only from 3rd May, but from since 5 years back. He's planned all these things, is well known. This is just an additional evidence
Hmm.
that he is the goof out here. And it is not, everything doesn't hinge on his innocence or the authenticity of the tapes or whatever. I think it is just an additional thing, and it distracts the whole issue. It's not really
Hmm.
relevant whether the tapes are. I mean, when I saw it, I saw it at
Yeah.
least 5 times because there was a doubt in my mind in the social media. Everything can be done nowadays. You can you can doctor all kinds of things. But I saw it again and again, and I know Biren Singh personally. I've met him. I've talked to him. Now it is. I mean, as an aside, I will say that this has not been doctored. These are genuine tapes. His reaction to it also proves that these are authentic tapes, because he's
Hmm.
asked for an inquisition on who leaked it, which is a giveaway that he knows that these are authentic, and he wants to find out who leaked these tapes. You know, but even if it is proved that these are authentic, and which the tapes also prove that he is the culprit behind all this violence. He's the architect of this ethnic violence since 5 years. I would go as far back as 5 years in his when.
So let me ask you this. You are saying, actually, you're both saying something similar. Your conclusion may be different, but what you're both saying is that these tapes are already part of the larger debate around Biren Singh's role.
Hmm.
The Commission of Inquiry needs to look at Biren Singh's role. The Supreme Court is already cognizant of that. But I want to ask you, Mr. Hangshing, when you say that the Chief Minister's response shows that the tapes are not doctored, they're real, why do you believe that the debate around the tapes is a distraction? We've had the student groups, the Kuki student groups today come to Delhi. We've
Hmm.
had the MLAs issue a statement. We've had two state ministers, Kuki state ministers issue a statement. Why is it not important to discuss these tapes? If these
Now,
tapes actually show, if the tapes actually show, as is alleged by the Kuki MLAs, that the chief minister is exhorting private militia, that he allowed them to be armed, why are the tapes not important to debate, Mr. Hangshik?
my point is not what I meant was that these tapes don't prove any further thing. It is whatever has been expressed in these tapes, or whatever comes out of this tape, is already there. It is already There's already enough substantial as well as circumstantial evidence to show the chief minister's involvement. Now, if by chance you say that these tapes were doctors, that doesn't prove his innocence anyway. That's what I'm trying to say. It is not really important, but the point I'm saying it is, whatever the fact that he asked for an inquisition on it improves itself that it is taped. And I know the way he talks, his thought processes, and this cannot be doctored or manufactured. It is a real spontaneous discussion with his stormtroopers, whom here he's egging on. He's he's driving them on to further I mean, go ahead with his scheme of things. So it's not really crucial that he's proven
Yeah.
innocent,
So, 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 so
innocence
you're
here.
saying
Even
you're saying let the tapes not be the only benchmark to decide Biren Singh's guilt or
Hmm,
innocence in fomenting
hmm,
violence. You do believe he's responsible for that. Now, I want to just play out as one statement given by a young sort of Kuki student leader. They're all in the capital, and then I'll come to Rajat. It's interesting. Both of you are kind of saying similar things. That what the investigation has to reach its conclusion. These tapes don't materially change the allegations. and we'll get responses to that. But let me just play out what the students on the ground are saying. They're all in Delhi. These are Kuki students. I'm sure we'll have counter allegations, as Rajat said, from the Meitei groups. But let's play this out, and I'll come to you, Rajat, right after that.
GM Biren Singh's audio clip that's gone viral, wherein he claimed that he was the one who perpetrated this violence or this conflict in Manipur. He himself said, I am the only chief minister ever in the state of Manipur who started this kind of or this sort of violence just to protect the identity of Meiteis. My question is, who targeted or who targets this community called Meiteis, that the chief minister is trying to launch a violence on the pretext of saying that I am protecting the identity of Meiteis? This is a big question. Who target them? Who is trying to target them?
Okay, let me summarize that. I think what the gentleman is saying is that in an effort to protect the Meitei community, Biren Singh permitted violence, and then the statement by the Kuki MLAs suggests that an arming, a looting, Rajat, as you know, this is a very serious concern in Manipur, that both the Kuki and the Meitei groups have illegally seized weapons, and they've been looted from police armories or even homemade or whatever. I've seen this myself. You know it. Mr. Hangsheng knows it. Now, if you're saying this is not new, is the center to ignore these tapes? Is the center to say nothing? Should the center remain silent? Should somebody speak? Should anybody speak? What should be the response?
See, it's such a complex problem. I mean, I wish I had the answers to this. And the more we pit the two communities against one another, it becomes a perfect zero-sum problem. You put out a video, it will come at the cost of the other community, and the other community saying anything will come in and berate the other one. Therefore, there is nothing which is accretive wherein both the communities can take one step holding hands of each other and walk forward. And that is where the problem is coming. And I'm only of the view that once there is a sense of justice, and justice is seen to be delivered by both the communities, by the way. If you look at the Kuki communities, they have their genuine angst. Look at the Meitei community and their feeling of insecurity, that is absolutely genuine. So between these two, you need to find that very, very fine and thin line, which perhaps only and only the central government can do, which can actually nudge both these communities to look into the future. So far, both the communities are at a perfect standstill. You present these facts, and there will be accusations and counter accusations. One can go out and say that all the Sioux groups, which were under suspension of operation by the Home Ministry, all belong to the Kuki group. Meitei groups were not in talks or were not even in India. Most of their troops were outside of India in Myanmar. Then this is an asymmetry of power. They are under the Sioux camps but have access to the arms, and they can come in and shoot at will. And this was a weird rationale which was given in where Arambai and the other groups came about. They're like, we have to defend ourselves. So, this is a collective spiraling down of narrative from both the sides. And I believe accusations have been made against the chief minister in the past. And those are now, there is a commission of inquiry which is looking at it. I really hope and pray that they finish this job and present the report before the Supreme Court. And we need to trust our institutions. Tomorrow, the Kuki leaders cannot come in and say that, I don't trust the Supreme Court or I don't trust the central government. It cannot work like that. Somebody will have to pass the onus of delivering justice to the higher powers that are there in the country, higher constitutional powers, and then trust on their judgment. And once that is done and complete, then take genuine steps to reinforcing confidence. Today, I'm hearing that there is a Kuki leader, by the way, of the BJP, who was trying to take up a middle ground. His house was attacked by the Kuki leaders themselves. They sent his house was burned down. His name is Michael. I'm sure Hanshin would be well aware of it. Anybody who's trying to take a centrist role is being attacked, and this is true for both the communities. So I am at loss of words to look at the way forward for engagement. But I believe the central government will have to act pronto on this.
Yeah, I think it's very important that you've raised this attack on anyone who tries to be mediatory or moderate. Mr. Hangshing, we saw this, we reported this attack, and when we today say that 7 BJP cookies MLAs are among those who have criticized Chief Minister, that's correct. But I think, as Rajat says, when a BJP leader who's a cookie's house gets attacked for playing a moderate role, for trying to be a bridge, we don't talk enough about that. So how do you respond to that?
This so-called Michael, how is he a BJP leader? I didn't know he was a BJP leader. He's just an individual. He's a lone. He's a lone
I
wolf.
think Rajat, I think Rajat is wanting to say something. Rajat,
He is the
Rajat,
official BJP spokesperson. And I
For
can
whom?
tell you, he's just one. Michael is the official BJP spokesperson. Again, forget about the party line. The problem is, and I can tell you several rounds of deliberations that have happened, conducted by the Home Ministry, Kuki leaders and the Meitei leaders in closed room are desperate to find a solution. But they are saying that once we come out of this closed room and we have to face our people, we can't be towing the middle line. We have to toe extreme lines. And this is the core problem, that in spite of understanding the core rationale towards moving forward, nobody has the guts to actually come out and face their community and say that where we are headed is not the right way. And let us adopt the middle path.
okay,
That's
Mr. Hangshing. Now,
Yeah.
I think the larger point is whether he's with the Okay, Rajat says he's an official spokesperson of the BJP. You say he's not. The point Rajat is making, the important point is, anyone today who tries to douse the flames, who tries to be a bridge, somebody has to be a bridge. Somebody has to be a bridge. The state has been in turmoil for more than a year. I agree that the chief minister's role must be scrutinized. I agree with that, and Rajat is arguing that is happening. Now, Mr. Hankshi, how do you respond to this allegation that anyone today, Kuki or Meitei, not just Kuki, Kuki or Meitei who tries to be moderate, is attacked so viciously that the space for dialogue is shrinking?
No, in the case of this Michael Lamzathang, it's not just about him being moderate. He keeps doing this even before the. I mean, there's a long story before him. He's a lone renegade, basically, of the community. He does not have any following. He does not have. He claims to be the chairman of the one organization called the Thado something,
But
which whom
he's a spokesperson. See, India Today reports unidentified armed men.
he
Let me just read
he's
out, sir.
a
Let me just read out. Unidentified armed men attacked the house of Manipur BJP spokesperson Michael Haukip in Churachandpur. The Biren Singh described it as a direct challenge on the unity and integrity of the state. This is Times of India. Sorry, not India Today. This is Times of India calling him a BJP spokesperson. Now, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Please go ahead.
he may be BJP spokesperson, but he cannot pretend to be the spokesperson of the cookies because
Fair.
he's a
That's
nobody
fair.
for us, and he plays. He's a he's used by Biren Singh as Biren's spokesperson. I don't think he's even a BJP
so somebody
spokesperson.
will go and attack his house.
No, I'm not justifying that, but I'm saying he is a renegade.
I
And
mean,
if
but
people are
he's
angry,
free to hold he has the freedom of expression guaranteed by the constitution.
let him. I'm justifying his house being burned, but I'm saying that he's
Okay.
a renegade of the community, and he angers people. Now, if he angers people and people boys go and do something to him, he's asking for it. Now he should
Oh
just
my
No,
keep
no, we
quiet.
can't. No, no, Mr. Angshing, I want to say we can't justify any violence. We can't say they're
Anyway,
asking for it about anybody. I must say that. I must say that on record. Kuki or Meitei, the problem in Manipur today is this kind of vigilante response. Where people are deciding who's asking for it. That is
he
the crisis, sir. What you have just said is the crisis.
what I mean is that he is not a spokesperson of the cookies, so he cannot
Okay,
speak on
fair.
behalf of the
That's
cookies,
fair. That is fair. That is
and
fair.
he
All we
should
are
know his
saying,
position.
that is
He
fair. All we are saying is, sir.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, let's go to the other
Yeah,
topic about
let's go beyond Michael. Yeah, let's
beyond
go
this.
beyond Michael.
He's
Yeah,
not important to me anyway. I don't even know him.
sure, sure.
Now, in fact, I don't know who he is and what his function is. He's
Fair
just
enough.
he's just a renegade to my mind.
Okay,
He doesn't.
okay.
He's not important.
The said,
Now,
yeah,
the point I wanted to make was that we keep talking about a post-mortem, examining the cause of the conflict. I mean, this is not going to give you any solution. The solution, as everybody says, let us look ahead, but nobody is looking ahead. You have to look ahead from the point where you are now. Right now,
Yeah.
the state is absolutely divided. There is no way the Kukis can come to the valley under these circumstances. There's no way the Métis can come to the hills under these circumstances. Now, from that standpoint, we have to look ahead. Forget the post-mortem, who caused this and how many years ago it started, whatever. Now, to look ahead, you have to come to a situation where peace can prevail. Now, peace can prevail when you build walls between these two. Good fences make good neighbors. We are willing to become good neighbors, but not subjugates like this. Now, to look ahead, you have to give a solution to let these two. I mean, we keep saying separate administration. It's become very cliched now, but there's no other solution than this. Let the two come under two separate administration. Then we will be there. We will be where we are. They will be there where they are. We're not going to go to some other country. Now we will talk to each other. We will come to the ground level and talk about safe passage, living together under the certain rules and all that. Otherwise, we will be only driving each other back to what it was before and come to the same violence again.
Can I ask both of you in the
That's
end?
the way. That is the only way to look ahead.
Okay, Mr. Hangshing, since you're talking about looking ahead, you say separate administration is the only solution. Rajat suggests that there is certain back channeling that is ongoing. Are you more hopeful today of that back channeling working?
Back channeling, what? Is there some other proposal? I don't see any other solution. Back channeling for what? To stop the conflict for a while, or what? It's not possible. As I see it, my house is in Imphal. I cannot go back there. I can't even think of it. I can't even dream of it. It has been occupied by the Arambai Tenggol. They put their numbers on my gate. At night, there is a light there. I know somebody is living there. I can't go there. All my things, I don't know what has happened to them. It's gone. I've erased it out of my mind. Now I can only look back and say, like, let us be secure in our own places, in our own little houses separately. And then we will talk about neighborly behavior of safe passage or giving facilities to each other, or even to the extent of allowing each one to come and settle in our lands under certain conditions. We can think about those. That is what we can, what I think of looking ahead. Looking ahead doesn't mean finding out this commission also, what are they going to do? They're going to blame somebody or declare innocent, somebody innocent. Will that change anything? It won't change anything.
Yeah, let me give the last word to Rajat. I think it's heartbreaking to hear somebody, and I would say the same to someone from the Maiti community who could not go into Churachandpur, and Mr. Hangshing not being able to go to his house in Imphal. There is a de facto line that has been drawn through the heart of Manipur, not an actual line, but like a metaphorical line, and it is having physical consequences that one community can't enter the geography of the other community, right? Now, I think what Mr. Hanshek is saying is that when the division is that acute, in that context, what back channeling is going to work? What is the proposal on the table? What can work with separate administrations? Question one. And question two to you. It has long been believed that if the BJP were to replace or remove Mr. Biren Singh, it would de-escalate the crisis. Do you think the time has at least come to ask for Mr. Biren Singh's resignation?
So essentially, I am of the view, I'm an optimist, and politics is the art of possibility. Exploring and keep being creative to creatively find that common ground where both communities can actually converge is a possibility. I do not rule this out, and I won't be that pessimist. And like Hangshing ji has, there are just so many of our Kuki friends who have properties in Imphal, and are much more valuable than their respective properties in the hills as well. And why on earth would they have to lose their hard-earned money and just lose hope on their properties and their rights? Secondly, also we need to keep in mind our basic constitution does not allow restricting one community, hypothetically, if there were two states, when Manipur was split into two, you cannot restrict constitutionally from the Meiteis from going in and buying land, occupying land in the valley, in the hills, and vice versa. There are therefore limited recourses. How do you address the issues where Naga community might not want to settle into a state with the Kukis, or perhaps there are small villages all checkered across geography, and then how do you create an isolated Kuki sort of a UT or a state or whatever that is being planned? Similarly, the kind of message that you might give, there are just so many tribes in the Northeast. There are 400 plus tribes. If every tribe starts saying that I would want, because I don't agree with the way of life of the neighboring tribe, I want a separate state or a separate UT, can you imagine? It'll be like a Swiss cheese scenario in the entire Northeast, and it is not good, neither for internal security nor for harmoniously living together. Therefore, this idea too is riddled with a lot of complexities. It's not as easy as it is made out to be. The only path is going back to 2nd of May last year, 2023. Go back, reinforce ex ante, whatever that term that you call, the status quo on the 2nd of May should be restored. And there should be a sense of security that is given to the Kuki brothers and sisters who can come back to Imphal, and to the Meitei communities whose houses have also been raised in Churachandpur, again go back and occupy the same place, same houses. If the houses have been broken down or burned down, the state's responsibility is to resurrect them, rebuild them. That's possibly the only way. Of course, pin the blame, have irrefutable evidence to pin the blame on the individuals responsible, remove them from the scene, and then click the restart button. That's the hope that I see going forward, and I believe that the central government would be working on these aspects. We just have to be more magnanimous and large-hearted going ahead.
Okay, while the principle and the spirit of that is something I agree with, I'm glad you also said pin the blame. I think if people see some sort of apportioning of responsibility, that also does help, at least in some sort of beginning process of healing. We'll have to leave it there. We try very hard to be balanced as we can be. But Mr. Hangshing, my heart goes out to you for not being able to go to your home in Imphal. My heart goes out to anybody in the Meitei community who cannot today go and travel to Churachandpur. Sorry, you wanted to say something? I was going to close. Mr. Hangshing, yes?
Yeah, I put in a word? Now, to go back to the 2nd of May, as he employs, it's very easy to say, but it's like time traveling back to it's not possible. Is it possible to go back to 2nd of May? Things have happened. You can't rewind all those things. Now, what I'm saying is you have to go forward from here. But if you want to
go back 30 years. You were at loggerheads.
You can't. Also. Things have the water has gone under the bridge. You can't bring back that water. It is gone. Now we have to work from what we have now, what the situation is now, and think ahead. We can't go back and there's no point saying this is not possible and looking for things why it will not work out. Be positive and say yes, we can live together. We will have to live together. We belong to that place, both of us. But we have to live together under different circumstances, different roofs, because the old roof, status quo ante, did not work. And it has not worked. It led to so much of violence. You can't rewind that and replay. You'll replay it again.
Rajat, time travel is not possible, Mr. Hangshing says. There are comments in the audience to say the wounds are very deep on both sides.
My point is, Naga communities and Kuki communities have seen rounds and rounds of genocide. They have still gone back. Time is a healing medicine. Give time some time. Allow things to heal. And let the leaders at least not be pessimist. What will happen to the common Manipur people, both Kukis and the Meiteis, if the leaders lose hope? I'll pause there.
I think I must close.
Can I have a last word?
Okay, all right.
The Naga clash was unfortunate, but it did happen. But here, it is literally like the brainwashing. You've seen Meitei kids on the road, school kids marching and brainwashed to hate. This did not happen with Nagas. It was all spontaneous and it happened. That hate campaign is very deep. You can't rewind that.
All I will say is that
it will take 3-4 generations to erase that hate.
We have to find a way. I think we can all agree on that, to move beyond this division, right? And I think that should be the priority. I wish Manipur was a more visible priority. I wish there was more public conversation, more media conversation around it. I wish these stories didn't fade off the headlines. I will have to leave it there because this will carry on. We'll agree between Rajat and Mr. Hangshing to agree to disagree. We thank you for both of you for your time and for a civil conversation. And I look forward to the day that Mr. Hangshing can go to Imphal and his friends from the Meitei community, because I'm sure he still has friends in the Meitei community, can come and visit him in where he is today in Churachandpur or otherwise. Thank you, Rajat Sethi and Mr. Hangshing, and to our audience for watching. Take care.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.